Sacramento!
Hello and welcome to the 916 Republic podcast. I'm your host, Nolan, and today Zach, Scott, and I had the pleasure of speaking with former Sac Republic forward Justin Braun. Zach, go ahead and tell us what we've got coming in this episode.
Yeah, really fun episode. We got to talk with Justin about just kind of his upbringing and just his time in soccer before Sacramento, which was really interesting. And then got to talk to him about what brought him to Sacramento, his relationship with Coach Preki, as well as, we spent a lot of time on that inaugural season, that championship season that we had here in Sacramento. And it was really cool to hear his insight, to hear his perspective. I got to say, we've had a lot of fun with these interviews. We got more to come, and this definitely ranks as one of my favorite. This was a really, really fun episode. Really, really good to talk to him. He's a really cool dude. So yeah, you guys are in for a treat.
Yeah, I think we are in for a treat. And you know what else is a treat? Our social media. Look at that transition. So you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, Patreon, and now you can find us on the Beautiful Game Network, 916 Republic. For all of those, the Beautiful Game Network, we are under the Sacramento Republic. You will find another podcast there, Sacktown FC. We kind of share the duties of reporting stuff for the Beautiful Game Network. All the Beautiful Game Network is a network of dedicated podcasts that cover lower league soccer and some major league soccer and NWSL, as well as some other leagues around the world. So if you want a new destination for all your soccer coverage, go to the Beautiful Game Network. We are sponsored by Roughneck Scarves.
All right, joining us today is Justin Braun. Justin Braun. All right, let's give it up. Claps for Justin.
Yay.
Claps for Justin.
Not in a studio.
Now, before Justin was captaining the boys in red, scoring goals, and leading the Republic to an inaugural season championship, Justin was growing up in Salt Lake City. And according to Wikipedia and his mother, had a very good career at Skyline High School. He then stayed local, played soccer for Salt Lake City Community College from 2004 to 2007. And Justin, now this is where my first question comes in. Now, from what it seems, you were able to land a contract with Chivas USA and thus started your professional career in 2008. I feel like there's a good story there. Please do share.
I don't know if it's a good story. It's a pretty crazy story. Yeah, I mean, coming from Salt Lake at the time, Salt Lake wasn't a huge soccer hotbed. Growing up, I actually didn't make like the big major travel team here. Okay. I actually didn't make it. And then, so when I was 16, 17, 18, I tried out for them. I wouldn't make it. And then they'd call me up 3 or 4 weeks after and say, actually, we want you to come play for us. And every time I was kind of like, nope, like I'm just going to play with this other team. You guys had your chance. But I had a good career in high school. I led the state in scoring my senior year.
Nice.
But just didn't really get exposure, so didn't have any college scholarship offers. Mm-hmm. My mom was a teacher at the community college, so I was going to go there for free and get my gen eds done. They had a club team there. Ended up playing there. Really enjoyed my time there. Had a good little team. Tried transferring again after that to play in college, but again, no offers came my way. So I was just in Salt Lake playing in the men's league around here, and we ended up going to a tournament at the then Home Depot Center, which is where Chivas and the Galaxy played. And Preki at the time was at one of the games scouting another player. Ended up seeing me and invited me to come to preseason, and then 2 weeks in was offered a contract and kind of didn't look back from there. Turned it into 11 years.
Yeah, so you spent 4 years at Chivas USA. What do you think led to you being so successful at that club?
To be honest, I think I was just a very coachable. I had a lot of the raw talent and the work ethic, and I wanted to continually get better. And I really made sure to, just kind of put my head down, work, listen to the veteran guys, learn as much as possible. And then when my chances did come, I just tried to capture them and perform well. And I think that led to me having, continued success. And over those 4 years, was kind of able to establish myself as a player in the MLS.
So then out of that, Justin, you spent a couple of years there, had some good seasons at Chivas, and you were then traded by Chivas in 2011 and spent a couple years on 3 different teams in the MLS. What was that like for you?
Well, you want to hear a crazy story about how I got traded to Montreal from Chivas?
Definitely.
So do you guys remember expansion drafts and there's the protected list?
Yeah.
Yeah, so going into that end of the year with Chivas, was told, you're going to be a big part of this club going forward. Got put on the protective list, so didn't think I had anything to worry about. Day of the expansion draft, I ended up just it was like on the internet at the time. So I just logged on to see, what was going on, what was happening. And then all of a sudden I see, Montreal selects James Riley from the Seattle Sounders. And then they trade him to Chivas for Justin Braun.
Wow. Dang.
So I found out I was being traded through the internet.
Wow.
After being told, yeah. So that was a bit of a shock for me. And then obviously going from Los Angeles to Montreal was tough as well. Big difference in the two cities and cultures. So definitely had a bit of a hard time adjusting to things over there.
So, hey, really quick, did you play with Alan Gordon when you were at Chivas?
I did.
Okay, did he ever tell you like his relationship with Bruce Arena when he was with the Galaxy, between like when he was with the Galaxy and Chivas?
No.
Okay, so really, I mean, this is on the Extra Time, or sorry, I think it's on the Benny and Sal and Ike podcast. But anyway, so he basically said that like Bruce Arena just like didn't choose him at all, like wouldn't even acknowledge his existence in practice, didn't like talk to him at all. And then as soon as he traded him to Chivas, he was like his best friend. And like, just like he was just saying like there's some like crazy trade stories in Major League Soccer that just nobody knows about. So like that reminded me.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of trade stories. I mean, I had people would walk in the locker room, the coaches called them in. I mean, when I got traded from Montreal to Salt Lake, I got called at 8:30 in the morning. Said you need to come in and talk to us, and talked to him and said you got a flight booked for 12 o'clock.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So I mean, obviously, I was excited to be going back to Salt Lake, but
yeah.
So was it like that every time you got traded or moved teams? It was like, hey, just to let you know, that's it, we're done.
Yeah. So that time when I got traded from Salt Lake, Toronto, this is another funny story. While we're on the trade topic,
yeah.
End of the year, they kind of said, we're not going to pick up your option, but we're looking to trade you. Kind of where would you like to go? And I was kind of like, I'm really kind of open to going anywhere. I just don't want to go back to Canada.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my only request. And then, I got a phone call a week later from Garth Lagerwey saying, I got some good news and bad news. The good news is we traded you. Bad news is it's with Toronto.
Oh.
So then, got to go back to Canada.
Yeah, why didn't you want to play in Canada?
It's just, just the little things, just different,
Yeah.
It's just, more comfortable in the U.S. I didn't have the great experience in Montreal, so it kind of put a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
But once I got to Toronto, I actually really enjoyed my time there and loved the city. So I think it just kind of came from the bad experience I had in Montreal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then what about when you left? We're skipping ahead a little bit in the timeline, but what about when you left the Republic and went to India? I remember hearing a story that it was your move was very closely related with Nemanja Vukovic. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah.
Your guys' moves to Indy were very closely related. Is that right?
No, not at all.
Okay, never mind.
That story was another shady situation. I can let it all out now because I don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
So I actually had a guaranteed contract with Sacramento for that year and wanted to stay. Loved Sacramento. My wife and I loved it. I had a lot of friends there. But Paul Buckle and Graham Smith at the time, I guess, were not fans of mine, and essentially forced me out, even with a guaranteed contract, basically threatening me that, if you don't leave, I'm going to trade you here or here to all these, smaller cities, smaller towns, or you can come into preseason, but you're not part of the plans. You're not going to play. A lot of that type of situation. So I had to kind of branch out on my own and was able to find Indy, which, in the end worked out well. But then obviously with the guaranteed contract, once, I was told I would get a certain amount of months pay because I was due the money from them. And then once it was all said and done, they kind of went back on their word and cut that back a lot. So yeah, that was kind of the situation there. I love Sacramento, but Paul Buckle and Graham Smith, kind of forced me out, which was unfortunate. It does happen in sports as part of playing. But hopefully the fans didn't think I wanted out of there, didn't have a good experience in there because, Sacramento was probably one of the top places I was able to play.
Yeah, well, then let's just talk about how you got to Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
Yeah, so basically, after Toronto, I was, looking for a new team, and I think Preki caught wind that I was out of contract, and he reached out to me and said he was going to be coaching this team in Sacramento. Kind of gave me some details of how excited the city was, how big he thought the club could be. To be honest, at first I was a little hesitant. I was hoping to stay in the MLS and didn't want to really drop down in the league, but Preki really sold it to me, and obviously Preki was the one who gave me a chance, and I figured playing for him could really get me back on track and get my career back to where I wanted to be, and so I ended up making the decision to come to Sacramento, and there's not a day that goes by that I would ever regret that decision, and I think it was kind of one of those things that was meant to be, not just for soccer, but like I said, my wife and I really just enjoyed the people of Sacramento, the city there, the support the fans gave us. It was just an awesome experience overall.
And so, if I could just take us back to kind of like that inaugural season, kind of going through training camp, did you guys have any idea what you guys would accomplish in that season, in that first season?
No idea.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think when this beginning of the season, I mean, you looked at the roster, it was a lot of people that, no one really knew about.
Mm-hmm.
Some local guys. But as the season started progressing, we started winning games, and the locker room just became so close with one another, where we really did feel like a family.
Yeah.
And it was probably, halfway through the season, maybe a little less than that, where we as a group really realized like, hey, we could, we got something special here.
Mm-hmm.
This city's behind us. We got the full support. We got, the best crowd there is. And we really felt like at that point, it was really our championship to lose.
Was that like kind of strong fan support right off the bat? Kind of a surprise, kind of a pleasant surprise for you guys as players?
Oh yeah. I mean, the front office, Warren and Preki and all them talked about how much support they had, and how excited the city was about the team. But, that first game we took a bus in as a team, and just driving to, it was Hughes, right?
Hughes Stadium?
Yeah, it was at
Oh,
Hughes.
yeah.
And, we were, before the even stadium, there was just lines of people walking towards the stadium. And then, I remember just being on the bus and we were all looking at each other like, holy cow, like, this is crazy. We didn't expect any of it. And then obviously walking out and seeing that stadium full, it was like, man, this is special, and this is going to be a fun season.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So is there a preseason or even like a regular season game that kind of stands out for you guys just like one game specifically in that first season where you kind of realized, you talked about kind of maybe like in the right before the middle half of the season, like things kind of clicked in and you were like, wow, this is something special. Is there like a game that stands out for you?
I can't think of a game off the top of my head. I think there was a part like in the middle of summer where we went on a pretty good run. I think we won, 7 or 8 games in a row. And I think it was that. I don't remember how many games it was, but I remember that was kind of the run where it was like, yeah, no, like when we play, like we just had this confidence that no one could beat us, especially when we were playing at Bonnie. Bonnie was Bonnie at the time.
Yeah, Bonnie Field. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we just started getting this belief that, no one can beat us. And like I said, we felt like we could go all the way.
Yeah. And something that you brought up, something that Chris Milaneb too, that we had on brought up, you both said it was a very healthy family environment. Family environment was something that, Chris kind of said too. Which I think, it sounds like it played a big role in that season success.
Oh yeah. I mean, that kind of that makes a difference between a good and a great team.
Yeah.
Is really just the culture. Cause I think, if you looked at our roster, at that point in time, like I said, we didn't have the biggest names, or people would have looked at our roster and be like, who are these people? Who are these guys?
Yeah.
But it was really that willingness to, fight for that guy next to you and know that you're going to do everything you can to help that guy out. And you knew everyone around you was going to, do everything for you. And I can't express how important that is in sports. Over the years, I was on a lot of teams where, we had a ton of really good players, but as a group, it just didn't click.
Yep.
And the team was crap, to be honest. But with Sacramento, we just really clicked, and everyone knew their strengths and the weaknesses, and we kind of lived off that. We just lived as a group and lived and died by each other.
And yeah, that's awesome. And if I could just kind of pivot a little bit, so we recently, like I said, had Chris on. We did an interview with Ivan Merkovich. That's a little spoiler that will come out, a little bit later. But we were able to ask both of them about that great night, referred to as the Miracle at Bonnie. So I think you offer like a really great perspective, really unique perspective. So what was that game like for you? First off, in that first half before you came on, what was that game like for you in that first half?
Oh, I mean that game, that first half of that game was very hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
I had been out with the broken bone in my foot, and I really wanted to start and play that game. At that time, my toe actually wasn't all the way healed because I think I played it in the first playoff game, and it ended up breaking it even more.
Dang.
So I was just really itching, and then I think we went down. What was it, 2-0?
Yeah.
And we was just itching to get out there. I wanted to get out there and help in any way I could, and even coming into halftime though, when we were down 2-0, there was still a belief in that group that, hey guys, like we're gonna win this game. Like there was really no doubt from us that we were going to come back in that second half and come away with the points. And then, after that first goal went in, things just started rolling. The fans obviously were unbelievable. We were picking up on that energy. And I think that was the energy that really pushed us through to be able to have that comeback.
And if you remember, and if you would like to share, was the plan before the game to have you come on at half, or was that a halftime decision?
I think it was one of those. I don't remember. If I recall, I think it was one of those situations where, like, if they didn't need to use me, they weren't going to. But I think Preki at halftime felt like I could maybe give the team a little bit of a boost coming in, bring some energy, and we were down 2-0, so if I went in and something happened with my foot, it wasn't the biggest deal. I don't remember like if it was exactly a plan for me to come in at halftime. I don't think it was.
It was an option.
Yeah, I was just wanted to get out there, especially once we went down, and help the team in any way.
Sure. And if you could just kind of walk us through that second half, like how did you feel? What was the energy like on the field?
Oh, the energy was awesome, and I think that starts with the fans.
Yeah.
The Brickyard Battalion back there cheering us on. The fans there never gave up hope either. I don't think. I think they kind of had that same belief that we had, and I think we came out that second half and just started pushing. Everyone was giving a little bit extra, a little bit extra effort there, and then obviously Roro does what he does, and scored some great free kicks and a penalty kick, and like I said, after that first goal went in, then it was really like, yeah, we're gonna finish it off. To be honest, I think we got kind of lucky with the PK call.
That second one.
Yeah, if we're looking back, if I was on the other side of that, I would have been fuming.
Yeah.
But at the time, we'll take it, and that's the game of soccer. And again, Roro came in and did what he does and scored some unbelievable free kicks, and was able to bring us back.
Did that rain feel as divine for you guys on the pitch as it did for all of us in the stands? It's just the timing of the rain. I don't know if it might not have been something that you
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I didn't think about it at the time. It wasn't until after when people started talking about it that it was kind of like, oh yeah, that is kind of crazy. But like in the middle of the game, like I wasn't thinking about the rain. I was just, focused and, trying to do what we can do to make sure we get the win there.
Well, it was a special one, man.
It was. No, that was, super pumped that I was able to be a part of that. And, it's an experience I'll never forget, when that third goal went in, just the excitement and the energy that all of a sudden just erupted in that stadium.
Do you plan on coming out for any games in the next year? In the next
couple
I don't
know if I'll be able to. I started a new job in January, and
okay, for sure.
But we would love to get back there, and like I said, we love Sacramento. We still have some, Mickey Daly lives close to there now, and still really good friends with him, and our wives are best friends, and so at some point we'll be out there, getting together with them, and hopefully we can all make it to a game.
Should come out MLS opening day.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Should talk to the club about bringing out the inaugural team, flying everybody out, and
that'd be so sweet.
That would be that would be a great idea.
I'm just throwing that idea out there right now.
Hey, it's a great idea to throw out there. I like
We'll relay the message to Will.
Yeah.
Will, yes. Hey, you listening? Hey, so just to wrap up, this has been awesome, Justin. Thank you so much. Like I said, we had Ivan Mirkovic on. Asked him about you. He had a lot of great things to say. I was just wondering if you had maybe a story about Ivan, maybe a story about just a funny locker room story in that inaugural season.
Yeah, I'll say a couple things about Ivan. I don't know if they're funny.
For sure.
But one, Ivan was, one of the most dedicated, passionate players I've been able to play with.
Yeah.
I'm sure you as fans could see that on the field. He always gave everything he had, and winning and losing was life or death for him. And you always knew no matter what, he was busting his ass and giving 100%.
Yep.
Every day. So to be, those are the type of players you want to play with.
Yeah.
Yep.
On top of that, I remember, Ivan carried that intensity with him every day in training as well. And so, you were, as a player, you're always, you always kind of wanted to be on Ivan's team, especially in small-sided games, because you didn't want to be on the other end of a tackle.
Yeah, I can see that. That doesn't surprise me.
So, yeah, there was definitely a few times when I think Ivan and I may have gotten into it because he put a good tackle into me, but, I respect the way he plays and the passion he brought. And like I said, you don't get that from a lot of players.
Yeah. He is a great number 6.
Yep. That's for sure. And I think he was a big part of, the success the team had as well.
Yeah, that position is very important. It goes unappreciated sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I would agree with that 100%. They don't get the glory. They're just kind of simple and kind of keep things organized.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
then really quickly, kind of along the same lines, I feel like Preki is a pretty unique individual. Is there any like funny story or a unique time where maybe like people were just misunderstanding, what he was wanting or anything like that? Any Preki story you have for us?
I can tell you. So I'm sure you're aware, Preki's a very intense person. But the cool thing with Preki is he really cares for his players. And that's, his whole goal is to make sure his players are successful, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to give them all the resources to make sure they are successful. And, he expects the best out of everyone. And I think he just expects that because he knows the talent people have, and he wants to make sure they can reach their full potential. And funny story with me, when I was first playing for Chivas, he was always yelling at me. I thought I was the worst soccer player ever, because it was always, don't mess up, this, and that. But then I realized it was the days when he wasn't yelling at me that I was really having a shocker, because he must have just lost hope on me. Because he's like, oh, this day is not even worth it today. So, like I said, I think Preki he has this tough exterior, but he is, I've played for a lot of coaches, and I've never seen a coach so passionate about his players, and protecting his players and doing whatever he can to help his players be successful. And that's, one of the main reasons I think I was successful, because Preki always pushed me. Yeah. He saw the potential I had, and, wasn't going to let me kind of ruin that, and was always there, to give me the confidence and, definitely let me know when I messed up and how to fix my mistakes. But, I owe my whole career to Preki, and I wouldn't have accomplished what I was able to accomplish without him. So,
anything else to add, Scott, Nolan?
No. Yeah. Thanks so much, Justin, for agreeing to come on the show.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Really, really enjoyed it. And like I said, always love my time in Sacramento. So hopefully I'll be able to get back there, and I love the idea of getting the team out there for the inaugural game.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
I think that would be fun. We could get up in the stands with you guys, and I'll wave a flag around and drink some beers with you.
Get in the TBB.
Yeah, we'll pound some beers. We'll do some stuff I couldn't do when I was a player.
Heck yeah.
I love it.
Be more than happy to do that. So
it's on record.
All right. That's fine. You can keep it there.
We're doing it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Justin. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, guys.